Li Jin is a 32-year-old woman who still lives with her parents. She's overweight and extremely lazy, basically living just to eat and sleep. One day, while she's going through her usual routine, her older sister starts in on her, telling her she's fat and nothing but a burden on the family. Furious, Li Jin grabs the closest plate of food and chucks it right at her, and within seconds the two of them are grabbing each other, slapping and shoving. The argument boiling over into a full-blown physical fight before anyone can step in to break it up. Feeling hurt and angry, Li Jin calls her boyfriend and her best friend to meet up, only to find out the two of them have been cheating on her and secretly dating behind her back. Worse still, her best friend is pregnant and they need to get married before it starts to show, which is the real reason they came to tell Li Jin everything. He explains that he doesn't feel the same way anymore because she's changed too much and breaks things off right there. Disappointed in her life, Li Jin buys herself some cotton candy and starts to realize just how invisible she's become. Like no guy out there even sees her as an option anymore. She weighs 440 pounds, so she decides to move out and rent her own place, hoping for a fresh start and determined to finally lose the weight. Not long after, Li Jin lands a job as a waitress, working for a sleazy boss who's constantly trying to make a move on his employees. Later, after a long exhausting shift, her boss sends her out to grab his cigarettes from his car. While she's out there, she spots a man relieving himself nearby and feeling uncomfortable, fumbles with every button in the car, accidentally turning the headlights on. This irritates Ha Jun, the man standing there, who snaps at her for bothering him. She apologizes, explaining it was all a misunderstanding, and heads back inside, leaving her boxing gloves behind by accident. It turns out he's a trainer at the gym next door, so the next day, she stops by to return them and ends up talking to him. She's clearly drawn to him and he notices right away, quickly offering her a gym membership. But Li Jin gets nervous and rushes off. We then find out the gym isn't doing too well financially, so the owner warns the staff that anyone who can't sell at least one membership will be let go. The warning is mainly aimed at Ha Jun, who hasn't sold a single one since he started. Desperate, he decides to ask Li Jin out on a date, hoping it'll be his chance to finally sell her a membership. She's thrilled, convinced he's actually into her, but Shirzi warns her it's probably just a sales tactic since she's seen this trick before. Li Jin doesn't believe her and agrees to go out with him anyway. The next day they meet at the park and walk together in silence with Li Jin practically glowing since it's her first date in over 10 years. Her excitement crashes though. She admits out loud that it's been years since a man has so much as kissed her. That's when Ha Jun makes her an offer. Sign up for a membership and he'll give her a kiss. Li Jin, desperate for any sign that someone might still want her, takes him up on it anyway and commits to the gym. The next day her training begins and it quickly becomes clear that Ha Jun is a terrible instructor, rough and careless with her while being gentle and patient with his other students. Mostly because those other students are already thin and attractive. Watching them, Li Jin can't help feeling a sting of jealousy. Meanwhile, the front desk receptionist, who also has feelings for Ha Jun, slips a note inside his boxing gloves, which he then hands over to Li Jin without realizing what's inside. When she reads it, she assumes the note was meant for her and convinces herself he's in love with her too. A few days later, the gym holds an internal fight with the winner earning a spot at the provincial championship. Ha Jun is a skilled boxer, but not quite good enough to knock out his opponent, so the gym owner decides to name Tae-fu the winner instead, hoping he'll bring in more clients and exposure. Crushed by the decision, Ha Jun heads straight to the bar where Li Jin works to drink his sorrows away. She tells him it's inspiring to watch people give it their all and he replies that he trained hard because everyone deserves to give it their all at least once in life. After downing more than a dozen beers though, he admits the real reason he lost the spot. Tae-fu is simply more popular with women, and giving him the spotlight is better for business. Completely wasted, Li Jin takes him home, and once there, he suddenly grabs her and kisses her passionately. The two of them end up spending the night together. Driven by her feelings for him, she goes to see Tae-fu and offers him money in exchange for giving up his spot at the championship. He agrees right away, since he's not exactly thrilled about getting his face beaten in any way. With that settled, the gym owner calls Hakuin with the good news. He'll be the one representing the gym at the provincial championship after all. This makes Li Jin incredibly happy, since supporting the man she loves means everything to her. From that point on, she throws herself into supporting him completely, even helping him out with his work. Days go by until the big fight finally arrives, but right before Hakuin steps into the ring, his opponent's father pulls him aside and offers him 30,000 yuan to throw the match. Li Jin happens to see and hear the entire exchange, but says nothing. Later, Halkuan explains that the father warned him if he didn't take the money, he'd bribe the referee instead to make sure he lost anyway, so he figured he might as well get paid for it. She begs him to calm down, but he tells her to mind her own business, since she has no right to tell him what to do, and kicks her out before heading into the ring. Right before the match starts, Halkuan warns his opponent not to get too comfortable, claiming he'll hit him hard for the first 3 rounds before letting himself loose. His opponent, however, turns out to be a much stronger fighter than expected, and knocks him out cold with a single punch, leaving the man's father deeply regretful over the bribe he offered. Later, back at her job, Li Jin's boss decides to have a few drinks with her and tries to grope her. And for the first time in her life, she actually fights back. The incident lands her at the police station, and her cousin has to come bail her out. Later on, her cousin convinces her to go on a televised reality show built around weight loss, where contestants get interviewed about their journey. At first, everything seems harmless enough with questions about her childhood and how she ended up where she is, but Li Jin soon realizes the whole thing is a setup designed to humiliate her on camera. The footage gets edited to make her look like a terrible person, and the backlash online is brutal to the point where she ends up fainting from the stress. Afterward, she goes back to her tiny apartment alone and devastated. That night, crying and desperate for some kind of change in her life, she heads to the gym and asks the trainer to let her compete in the next tournament. The gym owner tells her she's nowhere near ready and that she'll need serious training before meeting even the basic requirements, figuring she won't stick with it for long anyway. This time though, Li Jin is determined because she wants to win at least once in her life. She throws herself into training Rocky Balboa style. The first few days are brutal, but she refuses to give up, slowly but steadily improving no matter how many times she gets turned down for a real match. She keeps pushing forward, training harder and harder until her body completely transforms, eventually shedding over 100 pounds and becoming an entirely different person. One her own father doesn't even recognize when he shows up one day. He'd come because her mother hurt her back and needs help running the family shop. Li Jin agrees right away and her father tells her how proud he is, noticing that the change in her goes far beyond her appearance since she's finally learned to put herself first instead of everyone else. Eventually, all that effort and dedication pays off when the trainer finally gives her the fight she's been waiting for. Though he still doubts she'll make it through the match and suggests she train even more. While working one day, she runs into Halkuan, who's so shocked by how different she looks that he immediately takes off running. When he finally stops, the two of them end up talking and she invites him to her fight on Sunday. Curious, he asks why she even bothers boxing and she simply says she wants to win at least once. With that, they say their goodbyes and he runs off again. Li Jin trains relentlessly for her upcoming fight, pushing herself to the limit until the big day finally arrives. Her opponent, however, turns out to be a professional boxer, so the gym owner doubts she'll make it through the match and warns her he'll throw in the towel the moment things get too dangerous. She begs him not to, insisting the new Li Jin doesn't give up anymore. The fight kicks off, and at first, the two of them seem fairly evenly matched, but it doesn't take long for her opponent's experience to show, slowly gaining the upper hand. Despite the gap in skill, Li Jin refuses to back down and keeps fighting through it, somehow making it through the first round. Her trainer urges her to call it quits, but she insists she can still pull through. Several rounds go by with Li Jin taking far more hits than she lands, yet she refuses to give in, even as everyone around her insists she can't win and should stop. Still, she keeps getting back on her feet, leaving the crowd stunned at how she keeps absorbing punishment without ever staying down. During the final round, she digs deep and lands one last solid hit, but it isn't enough, and her opponent answers with a brutal hook that sends her crashing to the ground. As the referee starts the count, her entire life starts flashing before her eyes. The moment her sister hit her and she handed over the apartment her grandmother left her. The betrayal that forced her to stand as maid of honor at her best friend's wedding, just so no one would talk badly about her. The man she loved and gave herself to for the first time, only for him to use her and toss her aside. The cousin who seemed so kind, but only used her to humiliate her on national television. She remembers the night she felt so alone and broken that she tried to end her life just to make the pain stop, and how by sheer luck, she survived without a single scratch the next morning. Remembering all of it and so much more, she decides to get back up and finish the fight. And somehow, miraculously, she does. The entire arena is left speechless, genuinely moved by Li Jin's courage, and even though she doesn't win the match, she earns something far more valuable. The respect and admiration of everyone watching. Afterward, the gym owner tells her it's the most incredible fight he's ever witnessed, and on her way out, she runs into Hawk, who came to watch after all. He offers to take her out for some frog stew, but she turns him down, saying it's not really her thing. Later that night, she makes her very first social media post, writing that for the first time, she's won just in her own way. And that's how this story comes to an end, with a heartfelt message from the actress who played Legion, who actually had to lose over 100 pounds for the role, reminding all of us to value ourselves and strive to become a better version of who we are. Thanks so much for watching until the end. Remember, don't throw in the towel too soon, because victory might be waiting for you in the very next round. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next story.